So welcome back to another video. Let's hit the intro.
Now let's continue from where we left off. So we left off with trimming the V6 front bumper. So after I got all like the excess off that I knew was in the way, it was time to start looking at other parts that needed trimming and working out what bits to do next. So with a straight bit of cardboard, I marked out how far I needed to come out. I'd done that around where the pipes were, and then found an old bit of masking tape which I cut in half, which gave me a round bit that I could trace round. Nice little radius. So I marked that all round the hoses, inside and out, like that. Just double check the measurements, make sure they're the same, then just make some little adjustments. With an old bit of plastic, I just sort of, spaced the bumper away from the car so I could cut without having to cut anything. So let the cutting commence. So whilst checking every bit as I was cutting, just to make sure I trimmed off enough. Trial fitting, we're getting there. That looks like one side nearly done. Maybe a little bit extra, maybe another little bit of a trim on there. Much better. But still some fine little tweaks to do. So let's do the other side. This side was much easier to do than the other side because the hose just didn't come out as far. Always seems to come out further on the other side than it does on this side. Now with that all trimmed out, let's remove the bumper. So with the Dremel, just take off any excess sort of sharp edges that might, puncture the hose or anything like that, or were generally just in the way. And the Dremel packs up, so then we had to do it by hand. So out came a file, trying to get rid of all those sharp edges. Like that.
Right, a lot of mucking about, a lot of cutting. Hopefully that's all we need to cut off, so let's try it.
Now with the bumper going back on, we could actually see if it was a good fit or whether we needed to trim any more.
Maybe just take a tiny little bit more off here, just off this lower edge. So what we'll do is we'll mark that out now. Just want to take just a little bit from there, just sort of like this bit here. This bit's fine. Just a little bit in that inside bit, but we'll get that off.
It's getting there. I think it's looking good so far. We just need to make sure we leave enough left so we can get our grills in. So next up was to start making some grills. So let's get some templates. So a bit of cardboard, just marking out just a rough sort of size.
Hopefully by the time I've done this template and it does work, I can just reverse it over to do the other side, so we shouldn't have to make another template.
Let's cut these out. And now try putting them in the space that we need to get them in. And with a compass, just sort of start scribing some of the curves that we need to do and just cut that bit off. Test it in. Are we getting there? A little bit more. Back in again. Right. We have our shape now of what we want to do our grills. That is the result. And we could just copy this to the other side. So with some honeycomb grill that I bought a sheet of, let's start transferring over the templates of this to start cutting these out. So marking out what part on the honeycomb I wanted to keep and what bit I didn't want to keep, and trace around it. Double check it. Let's trace it again just to make sure.
So I've painted the grills all gloss black. So these ones are ready to go in the bumper. This one needs templating, and then we're good to go. So let's get these ones in the bumper.
So I put a bit of rubber seal just around the honeycomb just to tidy up the edges, and then just used a couple of cable ties just to hold it in place while I checked it out to see how it was going to fit in, and sort of played around with it to try and position it.
I think we're getting there.
So I decided to do something a bit different in the middle one. I went from the back of it. I didn't trim it in the end. I just ended up using lots of cable ties. Just remember, people, cable ties are your friends. And I did put a little rubber seal just around the edges of the actual bumper.
Right, let's see what it looks like on the car. Oh, and I do have one more final touch, so let's get that on as well. Honeycomb grill.
If you're enjoying these videos, why not consider liking the video, subscribe to the channel and turn your notifications on.
So we're done. The V6 front bumper is on. So, you ready to check it out? Try and get as good angles as I can on it, but the car's still up in the air, so I can't move it back, so let's have a look, see what we got. I don't think it looks too bad. See, with these bits here, what I did, I just found a bit of rubber gasket that I ordered online, I think about 13mm, and just literally put it around the outsides of that, because I did want to go behind it, but I couldn't cut the shape that I needed because of how it is on the back of the bumper. It's very difficult to follow a line, so I had to go in from the front, and I actually worked out it's probably better because I can cut this off if I need to get to the towing eye. So I think the way I've done it actually works better in reality. But this one I managed to do behind, so that's all in. That obviously doesn't need to come out, and obviously the same on that side. I had to match both sides, so that one I can remove if I need to. Shouldn't need to, but that one obviously you may do if you need to get to the towing eye. And I gave the splitter a little, you know, paint up with some of that removable paint because it dries quickly. And that's it. So that's held on by a bit of tiger seal and about 1,000 self tappets. So that's all on. I think it finishes it off, but the car's so low, I expect that front splitter to probably come off within the first mile. I don't even know if I'll get it out here because there is a slight slope, so that will be very interesting to see what happens with that. But yeah, so we've got the honeycomb grill in here, honeycomb here, everything's all gloss black, you know, gloss black, red, you know what I mean, it's a winning combination as we know with the Mark II. So that's that bit done. So I've just got to finish these off now, which will come in a later video. That is why I haven't moved the car out of the workshop yet, because I need to do those and it's in a good position for me to finish off doing them. And I obviously need to have a little tidy up, because if you No, have a look. It is an absolute state. Absolute state. And I did play around with the Audi badge, and I was like, do I keep it on? Do I not keep it on? I mean, if it was a little bit smaller, I'd probably think about keeping it, but do you know something? I went without, and that's how it's staying now. But it's all good. So thanks for watching. Hope you all had a good new year, and I'll see you on the next one.